in this video, I'm going to be talking about lists, and lists are a very important data structure, or something that just stores data. It stores integers, strings, whatever you like, in Python. All right. So a list starts off with the variable, and you can assign a variable to your list. So you start for this with closed brackets. Keep this in mind. You need these closed brackets. So what if we want to put some numbers in here? And let's say it's 4, 5, 6, 2, 1. And we want to print out this list. Well, we could just write down print and then print out the variable name. Now the thing about a list is that it has something called indices. So I'll explain what these indices are and what you can do with them. The thing about these indices is that they start off at 0 and then they end off sequentially. All right. So let's say your first number is 4. The index associated to this number 4, specifically for this list, is 0. So if you want to do something with only one number in the list, write on list, close brackets, and then 0. Guess what this is going to print? It's going to print the number 4. If you want to do something with, let's say, this 5th number here, you print out index 4. All right. And the reason why the 5th number is index 4 is because the first index of the list is of index 0. So what if we wanted to add 1 and 6 here? Well, if you want to add 1 and 6, we could print down list, and then we can do math at list index 4 and list index 2. Right? This is adding 1 and 6. What's going to happen is a 7. We can also assign a variable to this, some list 4 plus list 2, and then print out the new variable. So if you want to do things to specific indices of the list, or specific numbers or data, like not the entire list in general, then you want to put the index with a closed bracket. And keep in mind the index always starts off at 0. Now, let's say you want to add something from the list. So let's go ahead and add something to this. Well, let's say we have some variable x. This x is equal to 10. If we want to add 10 onto the list, we can run list and then append. So we can append the variable x into the list. Guess what's going to happen if we print out list now? If we print out list now, we get the new number appended into the last index. So now this new list looks like this after we append. We can also append, let's say we want to add the number 15, right? We can put the number 15 at the end here. But keep in mind, this isn't only, specific. This is only exclusive to variables. You can put down something, just a set number in here, right? So you can put down list.append 20. And you could also put down list.append in a string. So what if we want to add a string onto this list? Now this is a very convenient part of Python. What I'm about to say isn't too relevant to the video, but in lower level languages, you can't put strings and integers together. So Python's very nice about that. Be blessed that you're learning this as your first language. But list.append can add a string here. Now, keep in mind, whenever you have a string inside of a list, it's going to put these quotation marks around it. That's very important. So what if we turn this number 5 into a string? If we put the number 5 into a string, you're going to have the quotation marks around it. That helps you differentiate whether something's a string, a float, or an integer. But I just wanted to add that because I thought it was important. Now, what if you wanted to add or append to a specific index? Well, you wouldn't use append in this case. Append only adds to the end of the list. All right. So if you wanted to, let's say, put something to a specific index of the list, you would put insert. Conveniently, it's right here. So if you wanted to insert this, let's say you want to insert the number, let's say you want to insert the number 10. Actually, let's put the number 5067, right, into index, let's say 0. Well, you put 0 on the first parameter, or the first argument, and then you would put the number that you would like to add onto the first index. So the first index is 0, and right here, we're going to expect 67 at the beginning of the list. What if you want to put 67 at the second number, right? Index 1. And you put 67 right at the second part of the list. let's say you wanted to put it in 4, the 4th index. Well, the 4th index right here is right before number 1, and all it does is insert 67 into the 4th index. And keep in mind, this is a very important thing to know. 67 is now the new 4th index. All right. Anything after it moves up. So right now, 1 in this case is index 5, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 4th index. 67 is the 4th index now. And 1 is in the 5th index now. So it just moves everything up an index. All right. Now, okay, there was a lot of times I said index there, so pause the video or rewatch that part. You know, I highly, indices was a little difficult for me to grasp at the beginning because they start counting at 0, which seemed a little bit weird to me, but don't worry about that. All right, what if we wanted to remove some specific, let's remove this thing in the list. Well, we can use list.pop. If we write list.pop, all it does is actually, let's remove this .string. All it does is remove the last index of your list. So list.pop just removes the last value of your list. So let's say our list had hamburger here. Hamburger. Okay, hamburger. And all we did was remove hamburger from the list by popping it. So pop, just the opposite of append. Append adds into the last index of the list. Pop removes the last index of the list, or last value of the list. So pop, let's say you want to remove number 5 here. Well, you can write pop, and you could put 1 as the argument for this method pop. And we remove the number 5. 5 was at index 1, and we removed index 1. But by default, if you don't put anything inside of pop, it still works. All it does is just remove the last value of your list. Let's talk about a couple more features that you can use that I think would be very useful for a lot of your beginner projects. Let's go ahead and talk about clear. So list.clear. All this does is just clear your list. So if I want to print this list now, there's nothing in it. If I want to put the list before I clear it, it still prints the list, right? So remember, code runs from the top down. So if I have this top value here, first, code runs this list, creates the variable list, and then assigns this list to the variable. We print the list, and then we clear it. And then we print it again, and now it's an empty list. .clear, very helpful. Just keep that in mind. It's very self-explanatory. It's clear, right? I don't think most of you have to remember that. Clear does exactly what it says. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about copy now. List.copy, and we can assign a variable to this. So this is copied list is equal to list.copy. So if we want to print out copied list, right? So we print out list. Now we have a new variable copied list, and we're printing out the variable copied list, right? What's going to happen? It's going to print out the same thing because copied list is the same thing. But why is this helpful? Well, we can actually clear list.clear this guy, and we're still going to have a copy of it. So we make the copy, and then we clear the old list. But here's the thing, copy list is still the original thing. So let's go ahead and actually print list after I clear it. So we print the original list, we copy it, and then we clear the original list, and then we print it out to clear the list. And as expected, it has nothing in it, right? And then we print out the copied list, and then the copied list is just the same thing as the original list because we copied it up atop before we cleared it. Keep in mind, it has to be before we clear it. All right, if we wrote down list.clear before we copied it, look what's going to happen. You're going to get nothing, right? You're just going to copy an already cleared list. Copy, very useful in the cases where you want to do something with your list, but you don't want to, change the original guy, Copy, make sure you just put it before you clear it or do anything new, okay? All right, what about a function called range? So let's have a list of nums, and we want to use range. So we put range 4 here, and we're going to typecast it into a list. All right, so we're going to turn this guy into a list. What's going to happen? Well, nothing's going to happen because we didn't print it. Okay, let's print out list num. If we print out list num, we're going to get a list from 0 to 3. Now keep in mind, you need the typecast here, or else you're going to get something weird that really isn't that helpful, like this, right? Range 0 to 4. But if you turn it into a list, you should get numbers from 0 to 3. Now the reason why you don't get numbers from 0 to 4 is because all it does is make a list of 0, starting off at 0, 4, oh my god, 4 numbers starting off at 0. Okay. So right here, range 4 just creates 4 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3. Range is very helpful, actually, because, well, range is useful for a lot of loops and stuff like that, very dynamic programs. Range will be your bread and butter when it comes to doing things with lists. But what if we want range 8? Right, what are you going to expect? Just a list of numbers from 0 to 7. Now you can actually do weird things with this list, with this range thing. By default, it starts off at 0. But what if we want to change the starting number? What if we want the starting number to be 3? Well, we can write down 3, comma 8, and then we write numbers from 3 to 7. Just simply the number before 8. All right. So this right here is important. Remember, range does not include the last number. Now, what if you don't want the numbers in order from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7? Okay, let's pick a bigger number to show you how to do this. But let's say we want numbers from 3 to 12, and we want to skip each middle number. All right, what if we want we don't want it by ones, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. What if we want it plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, right? Every other number. Well, if we want every other number, we can put comma 2. And basically what this does at the end is go 3, skips 4, and then goes to 5. Skip 6, goes to 7. And if we want every third number, we can write down 3 at the end here. Which, if I were to make it more obvious with a larger range, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, all the way up until you hit 20. Starting off with the number 3, of course. But range, very useful tool. You'll learn how to use that very well. Okay, let's talk about just one more thing, and then we can move on to the built-in functions. Let's say we had a list, not a list of numbers anymore. Let's just write down list now. What if we don't want a list of numbers anymore? We can write down hello, why, I don't know, who, there. All right. If we want to print the list, of course we print hello, why, who, there. But what if we want the length of this list? Well, we could just write down length, built-in function length, and then write down the variable inside. And we get 4. So length just tells us the amount of values inside of your list. Just keep that in mind. Length, very helpful. You're going to use that a lot in projects as well. All right, what about some built-in functions? Let's go ahead and use sorted. Okay, list of numbers again. And our list of numbers are unordered. 198. What if we want to print this list of numbers? We can write down print list nums. But what if we want to sort this? Well, we can set a value, sorted list. We can make a new variable, sorted list, and we can use the built-in function sorted, and then put the variable name of the list inside of the sorted function. And now we can print out sorted list. And if we print out sorted list, what do we get? Well, we get the sorted list in numerical order. And this works even with negative numbers. So if we put -1 at the end, it puts -1 at the very beginning, since that's the smallest number. So this right here, sorted, very helpful. And it actually returns the sorted list of the input list nums, and then you can assign a new variable to it. So sorted, very useful. You can also do this with a string. So let's say school supplies. All right. And we want to sort a list of school supplies. Let's say we have the school supplies, backpack, scissor, pencil, Maybe if you're a teacher and an apple. So if you want to sort this, what's going to happen if we put sorted here? It's going to put it in alphabetical order, which is, very useful, right? You can already think of the tiny little projects that you can do with this. But school supplies is sorted is very useful because it can alphabetically sort and numerically sort. Now, here's the thing. You can't put a number in this. It's not going to, how are you going to alphabetical order the number 9? Right? You can't put an integer. What if we put the string 9? It simply puts the numbers at the beginning. So keep in mind, don't put integers here. Put strings if you want to sort the numbers as well. Which, I don't know any words with numbers inside of it. Alright, well, what if you want to reverse? What if you want to reverse this? So let's write down reversed list. Change the variable. So what if you want to reverse this list? Well, you can use the built-in function reversed. And then put the variable name of the list. And all it does is flip the order of all the values inside the list. So now you have, okay, we have to put the list here. There you go. So you have to typecast into a list, I guess. But when you reverse, all you do is simply flip the order of all the values inside of this old list. So the last value was apple before. Now the first value is apple. The second and last value was teacher. Now the second value is teacher. All right. Now, what if you wanted to use a little bit of math of this? Let's do some list, right? And we want to say find the largest number in this list. All right. So what if you wanted to find the largest value inside this list? So we write down print and then simply write down max sum list. And all this does is find the max value, or we can write down max value. You can make a new variable max value and set function equal, and we can print out the max value. And all it does is find the max value of the list for us. Well, as a human, you can just look at the list, right? And you could be like, okay, 9 is the largest number. But computers don't have that privilege, right? They see numbers as ones and zeros. So this max thing right here, very helpful for the computer. Very helpful for your brain to know, okay, this is finding the max value. You can also find the minimum value, writing out min. Let's change this variable name to min value. And it shows you the minimum value inside of this list. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you want a very, very, very simple project exercise, go ahead and create max and min by yourself. Once you learn loops, of course. But once you learn loops, go ahead and create the built-in functions, max and min by yourself. I bet that you guys could, right? And I'll probably put that in my for loop video. That's a good idea. Okay, I'll do that. If you guys watch that, I think that's going to be part 8 of my Python playlist. I don't know, just look at the big fat thumbnail. But I'll show you guys how to actually make these built-in functions, max and min. You guys can actually make these, right? These things aren't just boom, poof, magic. It does it for you, right? It has some underlying code behind it. But that's besides the point. We can talk about the last one. Let's write down total sum here so it doesn't confuse anything. Total sum is our new variable, and you can actually sum everything inside this list. So if we write down sum and then our list name, we print out 33, which I assume is the sum of all the numbers inside of this list here. So that could already be useful for a couple of things. I don't know, maybe your a calculator, right? What if you want to make a calculator? Sum, very helpful. But as always, if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing and liking the video. Thank you for watching.